Welcome back to Dynamic Advancement, the foremost authority for cyber workforce development. Our mission is to help professionals navigate through successful cyber careers. And today's special guest is an Army veteran, holds a master's degree in human resources, is a community servant and leader working with United Ways, San Antonio Food Bank, and more. He's out there making a positive impact in the community, has been a transition coordinator at Fort Sam Houston, Texas, and is currently in the Joint Base San Antonio Civilian Personnel Resource Management Office as the recruiting and marketing specialist. It gives me great pleasure to welcome my special guest, Mr. Walter Rogers.
Hey, thank you for that great introduction, Geronimo. I really appreciate that.
Hey, man, and I appreciate you taking the time, man, to spend some time with us and share some of the gems that we have. But starting us out, man, if you don't mind, just briefly describe your journey on how you got to the position you're in right now, giving out these opportunities that you give.
Okay, hey, awesome. Well, I'll be honest. I got out of the military in 2013. Rough road trying to, get a job just like everybody else. I really was not prepared because I just don't think I was prepared. I didn't do the right things. But when I did start getting on board, I actually went to CMA, Centurion Military Alliance. That's where I got my first resume done, my first relook. Yeah, that's it, man.
Hey, shout out to CMA.
Yep, Dr. Shantae Hall.
Dr. Shantae Hall. Oh, yep. Yeah.
I got my resume done, and from that resume, I got my first job working downtown in human resources at a nonprofit.
Nice.
Nice. Great opportunity, great people. I learned a lot about the civilian side of human resources. And from that point on, I networked, talked to folks, got me a job at Fort Sam Houston at the SRU. It was known as the WTB Warrior Transition Battalion. Got an opportunity at the SRU. Well, you know what? I started working at the SRU, started doing a lot of networking, going to a lot of events, talking to a lot of people. And I met this one gentleman, Mr. Rangel, Mario Rangel. Met him about 2015.
Okay.
We kept bumping into each other, back and forth, talked a lot, tried to get soldiers jobs, just work things together. And, 5 years later, Mario calls me up and presents this opportunity to me out of the blue. And I was like, hey, you know what, man? Hey, yeah, let's do it. Let's go for it. He said, we want to bring a recruiter on board. The only one across the board. There is no other recruiter at my level, at a base level, doing the things that I'm doing. I haven't met a counterpart. I don't have a counterpart right now. So this is a great opportunity, man. I'm creating the program, going out, talking to folks, boots on the ground, recruiting for all positions. I mean, everything from the lowest level wage grade position or GS position or NAF position all the way to the highest level. So It's an awesome opportunity, man. And I love it. I love it every day.
Nice. And for those of us that are watching this that are not veterans, and I love my veteran friends, so I'm going to be your Rosetta Stone. SRU is Soldier Recovery Unit, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then and I know what program you're talking about, but if you can just reiterate what program specifically that you're doing that you're pioneering right now.
Yeah. Well, General Miller, she wanted to know, we had a lot of vacancies across the board, across JBSA in the Air Force Civilian Department. So she wanted to know if she had a recruiting problem or a hiring problem.
Yeah.
So she brought me on board. And I've worked very hard. I am creating a recruiting, a marketing, and retention specialist position across the board in Joint Base San Antonio. So I basically I talk to hiring managers and try to work out strategies, recruit for individual jobs, for direct hire positions, those reoccurring vacancies, and those really, really hard to fill positions. Basically from the ground up, boots on the ground, shaking hands, kissing babies and trying to trying to get people jobs. That's what it boils down to.
That's what it boils down to. So you mentioned WG, GS, and NAF. For us non-military folks, what is that, or what are those? Okay. What are those?
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's good. I'm glad you had, because I recruit civilians too. Most importantly, I recruit people that are qualified to do the job. Please remember that.
There you go.
So GS is general schedule. It is a government position. Wage grade, a WG wage grade position is more of our technical fields. You have welders, air conditioner, HVAC people, heating people, plumbing. I think I already said electricians. It varies. It ranges in there. Animal caretakers is a wage grade position. And NAF positions, those are non-appropriated funds. Those positions now, even though I recruit for those positions, you still have to apply for the jobs on USA Jobs. Regardless of those NAF positions, you still have to apply on USA Jobs.
Appreciate that. So I remember the wage grade people, because I started out as an electrician, and when I first joined the Air Force, so I used to work with a bunch of WGs. And I learned later when I crossed over into cyber, the civilians I worked with in cyber that were GSs, and I had to learn the differences. So that helped me out. And then I also supported a lot of NAV missions, both when I was electrician and cyber, because they needed internet too, right?
Right. Everybody needs internet.
Good point. And you know what? That's a good segue, because on this platform, even though we love all industries and we support all industries because cyber is everywhere, you also recruit for cyber positions too, right?
Exactly. I sure do. Cyber, hey, across the board, cyber is huge. I don't care what you do, wherever you go, whatever organization, anybody that has any type of secrets or anything that they want to keep within their company or their organization, they have cyber folks.
Yep.
I don't care what organization, so you always have to remember there is a cyber person working in that organization somewhere.
Yep.
Trying to make things happen behind the scenes.
Yep.
Even though the company doesn't have cyber on the board, on the billboard, there's cyber folks in there.
Yep.
Guaranteed.
That's good, because a lot of people have the misconception that in order to have a successful cyber career, or just a cyber career period, you have to go work with the company that's specifically cyber in nature. Not true. To your point, right? Because I have a friend who's a IT director at a lumber company, and I'll have him on soon. You know who you are. But there are so many options, to your point. And when you said any organization that has secrets, military, of course, because we got to protect certain things, right? But even private sector, commercial companies, when you talk IP, intellectual property, that information needs to be protected too. And even customer data. That's the biggest thing, to where a lot of people, I think, undervalue how important it is to protect customer data, i.e., phone numbers, social security numbers, addresses. That stuff has to be protected, and you have to be able to operate with customers and accommodate your customers to bring money for the company, right?
Exactly. And if you don't have those cyber people, then I don't feel good. I don't feel comfortable about giving you my information.
Yeah, exactly.
I've talked to many recruiters across the board. I don't just talk to other government recruiters. I talk to recruiters across the board. And I mean, even Austin Energy, they're looking for cyber people.
Nice.
There are a lot of positions out there. When you think of Austin Energy, you probably think of linemen, electricians. Yeah. Electrician. You think of cyber, but they're there.
No, they're there. Yep.
They are there.
Yep. Especially if you're thinking about, protecting critical infrastructure, which that's another conversation. But to your point, yes. And we're going to work on getting them on here too, because I want to illustrate all the different pathways for aspiring cyber and IT professionals. So thank you for sharing that. So brass tacks, what cyber positions are you recruiting for right now?
To be honest, across the board in Joint Base San Antonio, all our cyber positions are on USA Jobs currently. Now, we don't have any direct hire cyber positions right now. We don't have any reoccurring vacancies. We don't have any hard to fill cyber positions, because there are people that are being trained right now in schools like yours that are coming out, along with that background and that little bit that work experience. We're getting those people, lined up. We have cyber positions at the hospital. We have cyber positions they're everywhere.
Yeah.
They're everywhere, to include government contractors.
Good point. So when you're saying everywhere, my translation from that is from tier 1, which is entry level, all the way up to tier 3, which is enterprise, and then all your different specialists, right? Does that sound about right? So that's awesome. Right. That is awesome.
It sounds right.
I'm going to translate that. So Joint Base San Antonio is an area of opportunity for those looking for a way in. And what it sounds like is, since these are not direct hires, you can go to usajobs.gov, right? To look at what positions are available. Now, how does that work? If they go that route, will they eventually have to talk to you or just someone on your team for next steps?
Well, basically, I don't deal with USA Jobs. Now, if I know the hiring manager and I could talk to someone and say, hey, I am recruiting this person, here's their resume up front, which is networking, really. Of course, I would do that, especially if I have a highly qualified candidate. But particularly at this point in time, once it starts in the USA Jobs process, it must continue through that process.
Gotcha.
There's no, I can't pluck a resume out or tell someone, hey, stop the process. Johnny's the guy. No,
so, fair enough.
So once they start through USA Jobs, it has to continue through USA Jobs. Now, what I do is I do collect a lot of cyber folks' information, and I'm telling you, the folks that I have that are cyber qualified, I talk to other recruiters that are using and needing those people as well.
Nice.
Nice. So it's just not a one-stop shop with me. With me, I'm networking. I'm doing a little networking for you. That doesn't take you out of the network mix. The individual has to do their part as well. But I try to network for the individual recruit or candidate to hopefully, land them a position.
And that's what it's all about. And that is awesome. And what's funny? Since I started this platform, every single guest that I've ever had used that word. Networking, mentorship, however you want to spin it, right? I always highlight that because a lot of people, when they get into the tech IT space, they feel like you don't have to deal with the human side of it, right? But you do, right. And it's just I'm really, really digging in on that, because that is the way. And I believe that is the way for any industry you get into. You need to get out there and build those relationships, relationship management, all of the above. It's important. You shared how getting out there, networking helped you with your position and your roles in the HR sector, which there's a nexus point, right? Because who's managing the cyber talent? It's cool HR folks like yourself. So for all your aspiring IT professionals out there, get out there and start networking. Find the Mr. Rogers of the world. And then also too, if you're following us, we will give you the information. It'll be down in the description on how you can contact Mr. Rogers if you have the skills. Now, I will point out, he said you have to be qualified. So just because you get in contact with Mr. Rogers, it's not guaranteed. You got to be qualified. So I want to reiterate that. No, that is awesome, man. That is awesome. And just in Joint Base San Antonio, where would you project the growth as far as those type of positions and opportunities for cyber talent?
Well, I mean, the growth is moving faster than we have talent on the ground. I'm gonna be honest with you. JBSA, man, is growing at a rapid rate, and the surrounding bodies that are growing at a rapid rate. Because you can't just look at JBSA and say, hey, this is it. I mean, Austin is basically connected to San Antonio now. And they're known as the new Silicon Valley. And I'm going to tell you, most of the companies and recruiters that I'm talking to in Austin, a lot of them have remote work, So if you're sitting here in San Antonio and you're looking at Austin Energy or another company in Austin, guess what? you gotta apply. You gotta try.
Yes.
You have to step out there
Yep.
because if there's a remote opportunity where you're still living here in San Antonio, you're still doing the things that you want to do here in San Antonio. You just work out of Austin, and remote is awesome, like everybody knows. And don't listen to what people have to say. I know there's a lot of people, oh man, I got to get around some military people. No, man, you came from the civilian world. You need to go back to the civilian world. You need to get out there, find yourself a cyber mentor, a cyber coach, a cyber teacher. They don't have to be military.
Nope.
Go find somebody who's been in the industry and pick their brain.
Yeah.
And go for these opportunities.
So you kind of stole my thunder because the last question I normally ask is to share some advice, but you already did that, and that's cool. But
I got more advice,
and we'll go with that. But I wanna really encapsulate what you just said because to your point, a lot of the seasoned cyber professionals, they want to help guide people because we understand that we have to train our replacements. Something you and I learned in the military. Right. But it holds true in the commercial world as well. We understand we're not going to be doing it forever. So we understand the importance of training our replacement, and we're open. But we cannot help you if you never ask us. So
exactly,
you got to put yourself out there.
You have to apply. You have to apply for that information. You want it. You have to apply for it.
Yep. And I'll throw this out there too for anyone who's looking for, okay, where do I find a cyber mentor that's not military? There's organizations out there that you can get around, like AFCEA, your local HDI chapter, ISACA. There's so many different organizations, professional associations that you could look into. Extra shout out to local HDI chapter, by the way. I had to do that shameless plug. But no, they're out there. Find those opportunities. Put yourself out there. That was some good advice. So we are wrapping this up, and this is great. It's a typical Army, right? You came in, man, and you were ready. You got in, got the mission accomplished. It was so quick, but you just dropped nothing but gold. But as we wrap this up, share some more advice that someone could take and use right now.
Yeah, I mean, well, what I try to tell people or anybody that I talk to, there's two different kinds of love. Now, civilians, I find highly talented civilians every day. No joke. Fully qualified to do the job. Love that. I'm here for them as well. Like I said, anybody's qualified to do the job. But I will tell my military brothers and sisters, you have to always remember there's two different types of love. Two different types of love. The love I have for you is a brother and sister in arms. Mm-hmm. I know what you've done. I know where you've been. I've walked where you've walked. We have that bond, that connection.
Yep.
But that still doesn't put you in the qualified for the job role. Okay. There's another type of love. The second type of love is civilian love. And that's not what you've done. That's what can you do for me today.
Ooh. Yes.
And that's what they're looking for when you go to these jobs and you apply for these positions.
Yep.
They don't want to know about your combat experience.
Nope.
They don't know about, they don't want to know about the skiff. They don't want to know about any of those things that you've done in your past life. They want to know what can you do for the company today.
Yep. No, that's good. That's good. And being a veteran myself, and we all go through that journey, right? Going from when we transition, we're truly transitioning from a nonprofit space, right? Because the government sector, DOD, military, nonprofit, right? But then now we're going into the commercial and civilian world where that civilian love comes in at. It's kind of like that Janet Jackson song, "What Have You Done For Me Lately?"
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
i.e., how are you going to help my company grow? And for my veterans out there, the circles that we're in, get good at explaining that. We do pick up good skills. It's just that you have to get good at self-advocating and articulating how those skills you picked up can help that company grow. Because any business leader, that's what they care about. And that's what a good business leader cares about. So any veteran watching this, if you're service member, if you're on your way transitioning out, if you are a veteran, it's time to get good with that civilian love and get good at explaining how you bring value. That's what it boils down to, is how do you bring value to my organization? How do you help me grow? You got to get good at answering that question. And then just civilians, non-military, same thing, but they probably have more experience if you've never been in the military, kind of explaining that, right? And another caveat I'll throw in there to my tech folks, because techies are kind of guilty of that too. We tend to we get real skilled in something, and we think just our tech skills sell themselves, but you still have to articulate how those tech skills contribute to the growth of that company, organization, whatever. So that was awesome, man. This was good. For everyone watching this, Mr. Rogers does have a lot of gems, so you'll be seeing him around as a recurring guest. And I appreciate you. Thanks again.
Yeah. I love being here, man. I love being here. I was happy to be here every day, man. This is fun. I mean, getting the information out there. That's what it's about. The platform that you have right now, man, I hope it reaches as many veterans and transitioning service members as possible, because they need to know this. They need to know what you're talking about.
Yep. No, and that's why we do this. We do this for the veterans, and we also do it for, civilians we served when we were active duty. So it's, at the end of the day, for us, it's really about doing what we can to develop that cyber talent that's much needed. And it's only that need will just continue to grow. So as we do as veterans, we have a commitment to serve. And that's why we're doing this, is just to continue serving our community by, trying to get the message out there, set realistic expectations, and then helping that talent get that boost that they need from advice from, professionals like yourself. So I appreciate you again. And then anyone watching it, you know how we do. As we always say, cheers to your success.
Boom. Hey, appreciate you, Geronimo.